Welcome, friends. It's LSR Live again. I'm your host, Scott Ritsema, and you guys in the chat, get ready with your questions. Our topic today is going to be herbals, and our featured guest, Edwin Chung of Humble Herbals. We're going to be discussing herbal remedies and herbal assistance to help our bodies thrive. God made us, and He knows where our ailments lie, where our struggles are, where we just need a little bit of help from His plant-based kingdom to thrive even more. And speaking of thriving even more, again, it seems like every other time I'm on LSR Live, I'm talking about how somebody in my family got sick, and I was blessed to not. And I credit it largely, almost entirely, to the 8 laws of health: nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, air, fresh air, rest, trust in God. And I'm religious about these. Like, I take them with me, spray the throat, spray the nasal passages with the Revita Sinus. They are available at the LSR store. They're in stock. When you purchase them, you get them. This one, though, shake it. I know I've told you many of this. If you've been on this program before, you're aware of that. Shake it, shake it, shake it. I even spray it a couple times in the air before I go up there with it. And then the throat, that's the tasty one. That's the best seller. Everybody loves that. If you want an entry level, get started with some Revita Living products at the LSR store. Use that one. This is our sponsor today. So thank you for frequenting the LSR store to make this program possible, including the hand sanitizers. We got citrus, lavender, peppermint, or unscented. Jeremy, let's bring up our guest. And unless I'm missing, are we? Okay, good. We've got Edwin. Edwin, it's so good to be with you. I know you and I were talking a few weeks ago, and I'm like, you have one of the neatest stories. So even before we talk about herbs for health, I want the audience to just kind of get to know what makes you tick and how just a person without a medical background, a person with no training in health, you were convicted and led in your relationship with God that you need to be serving those who are in need, who need the healing ministry of Jesus. And so can you tell us a little bit of your story and what's your background? What is your training? What is your profession? And then tell us about the transition in your life.
Yes, I was trained as an electrical engineer, but after a 5-year period working in the office, I realized that it wasn't for me. And so when the layoff came, and I was one of them, I was went with the layoff. Good thing with the company, it was a telecom company. A good thing they gave me like a 6 months of pay for that layoff, like a package. And then I was like, okay, I need to do some things with hands-on. And so my closest transitioning is electrician, because, electrical engineer, electrician. So I did that. So I'm a licensed electrician now, working with my hands, and it's pretty fulfilling, really. And how I got into medical missionary work or with the herbals is that, during the COVID time, I realized that, a lot of people, they didn't know what to do, including myself. So I was searching for answers, and the one of the prescribed remedies is just like with the jab. And so I was like, no, really, is that the only solution? So with that, I went to search for more answers, and the answers came. And today, to cut the long story short, I own a herbal business. Yes.
Well, Edwin, I'm very interested also in what got my attention to interview you was a mutual friend, shared this little video on Facebook. And it was a guy with no medical background doing medical missionary work overseas under the guidance and training of those who are competent in even surgeries. And so tell us the story about how you, as not a trained surgeon, got the privilege in Developing Nation to be able to participate in doing. Oh yeah, Jeremy's got the video. While he rolls that, tell us about what this is that you're doing.
Um, so with that,
I think that's Jeremy. If you can notify me on my email, if that's just on my end, that
hear me?
yes, I've got you. I was having a hard
You
time
got
getting you. I don't know if the rest of the audience was. If that was just on my end, but if folks saw the surgical room, maybe you can speak to that without the video playing. Maybe that was too much bandwidth or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, of course. So yeah, so one day in the morning while I was driving to work, I got a call. It was like really early in the morning, like 4:30 a.m. And then he was like, Edwin, like, do you know? Can you give me some suggestion on a couple of herbs that would help with someone who has severed his finger? And I was like, okay, yeah, start with, poultices like cayenne. You want to keep, the blood flow. You want some golden seal in it. You want some aloe, and comfrey. Comfrey, of course, comfrey, right? For the for the wound to heal quick. And then after that conversation, he was like, Edwin, it's me. I got my hand severed. My index finger is severed. So I when I heard that, I was like, wow, because this friend of mine, he also know, with herbs as well. So why would he ask me? I thought, and so after, like, I thought about it, I was like, okay, yeah, he now needs the faith of these natural herbal remedies, because the doctor was like saying to him that the best I could do for you is just put a just uh, draw a skin and cover that with your skin, and just that's it. I have never heard a finger get reattached like that, even with if I give you stitches. However, he waited in the emergency for like 7 hours, and I think that's way too long for that type of injury. And so uh, even though he got his finger reattached, it fell off like 2 weeks later. So with that said, I I was like, okay, if he could have get attended with that serious injury quicker enough, he would have saved his finger. That's what I thought, and that's how it motivated me.
Mm.
If I know how to help him, I would. And so I went to Ethiopia to learn that skill.
Yeah, you wouldn't get away with that in North America, would you? I mean, even
No,
under
no.
proper guidance and training, you're not picking up a scalpel.
You know what? It's so interesting. After I came back from Ethiopia, I actually got some of the instruments. If of course I wouldn't be doing it, right? I wouldn't be doing it, but if I were to do it on an animal or anything like that, I would. I know how to do it now.
Yeah.
I know how to do suturing and stuff like that now. I think it's a very important like skills to learn, although we can't do it here because it's classified as a controlled act. It's unfortunate, but it's I think of it as a survival skill, really. um
Mm.
yeah, if there's a collapse or a societal collapse, or a very bad emergency, at least you have a skills that you can use. We know that during COVID time, hospital was being swamped, right? Like, what do you do when, because our system is not um, to handle it can handle like a big uh, flush of like patients like that, so yeah.
Well, it tells me something about the society in which we live that we have proper regulations. These are important to have safeguards in society in an industrial era. But I remember you telling me in our previous conversation about it, like you didn't even want to post the video and tell your story about how you got the privilege to learn that little skill, that survival skill that could be useful to serve others. I know a lot of our audience believes in the book of Revelation and also believes that the healing ministry and serving in health and wellness is the right arm of the gospel. It's the way to reach people's hearts by truly caring about them. And so you got some experience in that, but you were hesitant to post it, right? Because it's
Yeah,
like
I did.
this is the society we live in where these things are highly controlled, as you said, huh?
That's right. And so uh, it was a friend that posted it, because I told him what I did. And then he was like, wow, that's so exciting. And there was a lot of positive comments. And also, I have read a couple of negative ones, but I don't let that stop me. It's fine. I just think of it as something to know, something that really I can use for an emergency. Really, like I mean, if I'm out of in the boonies and the hospital is like 2 hours away, like what do you do, right? So I it's good to have like suturing kits, with your emergency first aid kit and stuff like that, and just learn how to use them, how to do it properly too, like you want to do it properly, you want to be. And you know what, it's so funny that in Ethiopia, I was learning it from a surgeon. I spent a month there, day in and day out, just to learn it. And it feels like I jumped in front of a line.
I know, I totally get it.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, because like for in North America, you would do your you would do your MD, you get your MD, and then you go to residency and things like that. So it's this is the surgeon friend. It's a friend. Not everybody gets that privilege, but I thank God that I got that privilege. He
Yeah.
is a missionary physician actually, and so yeah.
Well, you learned electrical engineering, and I don't know electrical and I don't know surgery. And I'm not going to start just like slicing people open and cutting wires and splicing wires, not know what I'm doing, because these can be dangerous things, of course. So we want to always exercise prudence and proper precautions about things, but not let that keep us from experiencing things. And you had an opportunity to do that. And I think that's pretty neat on the mission field. So thank you for covering that. And as we go forward, I want you to just bring in the herbals conversation now as the topic. Those who are joining us, we've got Edwin Chung of Humble Herbals. We're going to be talking about herbal supplementation and herbs for health. And so you can load up your questions on that topic. And you also work in a local sort of what do you call it, like a lifestyle center? And I noticed somebody in the comments was asking, where are you located? We're saying hello to people from Oregon and New Jersey and all over the world, but where are you, Edwin?
I'm in Ontario, Canada, and yes, we do run a clinic. Um, so the clinic is called Paradise Health Clinic, and it is a fully functional naturopathic clinic. Right now, we have three naturopaths working there. We have a registered nutritionist there. We have two massage therapists there, and those three naturopathic doctors. They know how to do hydrotherapies and all those things as well, and consultations and things like that. And then the very neat thing about this clinic is that we have a pharmacist, a well-trained pharmacist. She left her job just to be working with the clinic, and her job, guess what her job is? It's not to
What?
it's not to prescribe more drugs, but it's or give more drugs. Her job, her only one job is to lower down the drugs that the doctors get prescribed them. And so she would write a recommendation, and then with that recommendation, they can talk to the doctor, and then hopefully they will able to drop their dosage until they are free of using the drugs that were prescribed to them. So yeah.
So,
And
what role, Edwin, do herbs play in that as you're trying to bring down the prescriptions people are on? I know that you're prescribing lifestyle changes. Can you talk to us a bit about both the lifestyle changes and the herbal elements of what you guys do in your clinic? You can take those one at a time, whichever one you want to take first. We can chat about that first.
oh yeah, of course. People that comes in to the clinic, a lot of them they do come with like high blood pressure type of case, hypertensive. Of course they would do the regular medication for hypertensive, but through lifestyle changes, diet, and of course water and all those things, like the New Start concept. We also have herbs that does to replace those drugs, and one of them that I made for the clinic, it's called the BP and Heart. So it has Ortonberry that strengthens the heart. It has like garlic in it, a vasodilator. It has allicin that thins the blood. It has motherwort that calms the nerves. Because one of the stress is one of the main factor for high blood pressure as well. So it's almost like when it comes to herbs, you want like a multi prong approach, so to speak, to work in synergistically, with um, with their conditions and things like that. So sometimes the condition can be a wide range, and so that's why you use a combination of herbs, to tackle each issue like that. So like this one, you see, like, do you see this one? So yeah.
It's backwards for
Oh,
me,
it's
but can
backwards.
you read
Oh,
it to
sorry.
us?
With this, it has motherwort, linden flower, hibiscus, ginger root, cayenne. Cayenne is another good one. It's a
Oh yeah, our
vasodilator.
listeners are very familiar with that.
Oh yeah, cayenne is a vasodilator. It actually enhanced with uh, the production of nitric oxide, really. And so yeah, it's a blood stimulator. It promotes circulations and things like that, and so it helps with um, the blood pressure, really. And
Excellent. And Jeremy, by the way, Edwin put that product up with the QR code. That takes folks to Humble Herbals. Humble Herbals, if you're in not an American or Canadian English speaking country, that would sound pretty fun. But you know, when you were holding it, I was trying to read it backwards in my head, and I was reading PB and heart, like peanut butter and what? Peanut butter and heart. So that makes more sense. BP, like blood pressure, heart. I did not know that you had that one, and that's helpful to people as they're also making lifestyle changes, right? This isn't like a Band-Aid that just solves all your problems. You keep eating junk food, right?
Right. No, it's herbs is not it doesn't act like a band-aid. Like I think when you go to um, what we expect nowadays is, I'm sick, I have this symptoms, and I go to the doctor, and the doctor is like, okay, you have this and this and that symptoms. This is what you take, that, this, that, right? Um, Herbs doesn't work like that. If you, if you, if the naturopathic says that, hey, this is what you're doing wrong, and this is a corrective way to do it, uh, like a lifestyle change, a diet change, don't eat this or don't take that or don't do that. And this is the herbs that would help you. So if you were to just go with the herbs and not change the lifestyle, you might as well just throw your money to the drain, because it can't really help that much. Really, it's not like pharmaceutical. Really, it doesn't work like that. And we know that pharmaceutical just hide the symptoms, but
Uh-huh.
the real problem is still there, and it can only be resolved with lifestyle. Really, most of them, you see, most of the issue. So yeah.
I really appreciate your philosophy on that, Edwin, because you can't just move from bad lifestyle with pharmaceutical to bad lifestyle with herbal and expect to have a revolutionary change in your health. You've got to
Correct.
address the lifestyle issue as well as discarding big pharma and seeing how herbs can also add a boost to what I'm doing with my rest, fresh air, water. Diet is so key. And as you're working with people at the clinic, tell us how people have experienced these changes with the herbs and the lifestyle. What kind of success stories have you guys seen there?
A lot of success story from one of the patients. Okay, so what happened is we just finished off a retreat. It's called uh, 1 week in paradise. Okay, um, so then you have the clinic, you have the church, and then you have a retreat at the one of our camp. And uh, and so we do our retreat in the camp for a week. And um, and during that week, the best part is the testimony part, because during the testimony, you get to hear. So this, the last one, we had 17 patients. Okay, we had 17 patients, and each of them have their own stories. It's either the drugs are being reduced significantly to no more drugs, uh, to being depressed state coming in, and they start feeling better. Is because and also, not only that, not only physical wise, but mental wise and spiritual wise. And one patient, he was like, I no, actually it was two of them were like, no, I don't want to leave, it feels like heaven right here. um,
Hmm.
yeah, because the spiritual component is so key to both physical and mental healing, and
That's beautiful.
so we have one patient, uh, because of this retreat, uh, and she says that if I ever get baptized, I want to be baptized by one of the pastoral team, who was doing devotional, who was doing Love is Medicine series. And right now she's doing Bible studies because of W3, and so it's powerful. So you want to tackle with, the spiritual, the mental, and the physical, and when you have those, and when they start seeing results, um, you win them. And herbs is one of the key as well. And so uh, I'm in charge of supplying the herbs. Yeah, some of the herbs,
Yeah.
all of them. So yeah. So
Electrical engineer turned herbalist Edwin. I love what you guys are doing there in Ontario in March. Now, I'm from Michigan, similar latitude, and I'm aware that that's not normally viewed as paradise. It's usually, when is winter going to end finally? I mean, people come down to Living Springs and it's just like, oh, incredible southern weather. And your week of experiencing healing with these patients was a week in paradise in March in Ontario. I just love that. And they're still loving it because these methods work. I mean, it's the same kind of methods LSR uses and Red River Outpost. Jeremy had that QR code up. I wondered if we were going to plug that at the beginning. Jeremy, let's mention them again because Barbara O'Neill's coming to Kentucky, a sister organization, good friends of LSR's, Red River Outpost. I want to mention that in case folks can still plan last minute to come join them there. I'll be at Red River Outpost with Barbara actually at the end of June. So we'll be, I'm sure, mentioning that in subsequent broadcasts. But whether it's Barbara, whether it's Narlin over there in Kentucky or LSR, I mean, there's so many places where people are catching the same vision because it's not some new novel concept. Although I'll give you this, Edwin, I believe, God's given us innovative abilities. And so, yeah, we're all kind of on the same healing blueprint and definitely the same biblical blueprint because the Bible is available to every human soul and mind. But you figured something out. Our mutual friend who said, Scott, you got to talk to Edwin. He said, with your herbals that you've produced, not just that blood pressure and heart one, but others, that you've made them so that they have a really good staying power. They don't degrade so much with time. And I don't know if you've made that claim, but that's what a friend of mine said is Humble Herbals has got something. They've got something figured out. So I wanted for you to share more about the products that you make available. And we are going to go to the questions. Those joining us, we are talking herbs. And Edwin shared a little bit of his story with us on how he's gotten into health and healing, natural healing, from a background of being an engineer. So tell us about some of your other herbal supplements that you've got. I know that you've got one that helps with hormones, and any others that you want to talk about.
of course. And before I talked about that, it is so important for us to keep the mind sharp. And one of the things that, Ellen White, she was talking about, we to keep the mind sharp, we need to continue to invent, to work, to tax our mind to the point where, if it's just like a muscle, like to exercise. If we don't do that, it's gonna degrade really. And so I really want to encourage people to do that, like I don't know, find something that you're passionate about. As for me, is herbs, right? And so yeah, I was like looking at, as I was looking at the female hormonal balance like cream out there, I was like, okay, there's so many creams out there now, and we know that the Anna Wallian cream is the most popular, is because like they are the first one, right? It's almost like, I think they started in 1997, and during that time, like herbs is just not it's not really spoken about, and they got to figure it out, how like a Wallian cream that can help with women that is suffering from symptoms of like menstruation symptoms and things like that. And then I was like, okay, what can I do with this? Because I was like, I don't want to compete with them, and I don't think I can, because they are already out there, And so I was like, what's the other way? So I was like, okay, why don't we try DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, because I was like learning during the last 4 years during the pandemic. I had a lot of time somehow,
Hmm.
and I was doing some research and things like that. And one of them is DMSO. And so I got to find out that DMSO is it's a great painkiller. I get to find out that it absorb into the uh, uh, under the skin and go into the bloodstream really really quickly, much quicker than oil-based cream out there. And I also learned that it is a free radical scavenger, and it's so good for anti-inflammation. It's also uh, it's almost like uh, an a local anesthetic as well. It can act as a local anesthetic because when people has like muscle cramps and aches and even like arthritis and things like that, they would use it. And so I was like, okay. And then get to find out, okay, it is a good solvent too. I was like, oh, really? So could it be mixed with herbs and and have those uh, medicinal properties to be dissolved into it? And so with that, and then you apply it topically. And so um, I was experimented with it, and then I came out with the product. It's called the Super Female Balance, and a lot of people has been using it, and they say it's amazing. And I got a text like a week ago. She was like, "Hey, Edwin, like, I'm experiencing cramp, and I use this, and it went away right away. Like I thought it would go away like few hours later, but it went away like right away with her cramp. And
That's
she's
amazing.
yeah, she's a naturopathic doctor too. And to hear that from her, I was like, you know what? You should spread the word now.
Absolutely. Now, I want
Yeah,
to. You've got you're in Canada, and so you've got a Canadian website for Canadian users and customers of your Super Female Balance, but you also
correct.
have an American, right? Can you clarify that? Or international can probably be purchased from the. I don't know. Help us out with
Yeah,
where folks go.
for now, it's America, U.S. and Canada only. It's not
Okay.
worldwide
Okay.
yet. And so when you go into the website, it will ask you whether are you coming serving from surfing from Canada or the U.S. And then you just click it, and then it will redirect you to whichever
Okay.
site.
So if folks use that QR code, then they'll just be distributed to their proper page from this QR code.
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Well, that's
so,
simple enough. You
right.
know,
And
it's
so,
I grew up with Superman. Well, this is super female. That's wonderful because so many women of many ages are just feeling like something's not right here. Something's not quite right, and a lot of times that's hormonal, isn't it?
it is, it is. I think it's because the food, and it's also because of environmental as well. A lot of the things that we do, sometimes we do not know that it contributes slowly to, you know, changes to the hormone. I just read the other day that chewing gum, it actually leaches microplastic into your body,
Huh.
and it leaches like within the 15 minutes of chewing your gums, like 75% of the microplastics is being leached as you chew and yeah, swallowing your saliva, really. And I was like, wow. So if
Yeah.
anybody, if if microplastics really is one of the contributor of being having like hormonal imbalance,
Hmm.
then it does affect that.
Yeah.
Like,
Xenoestrogens.
that's right.
Yeah.
Xenoestrogens, right?
I stopped
So
chewing gum, by the way, 20 years ago
yeah,
because it's all got aspartame in it. And I guess maybe they
right.
make healthier alternatives these days. But back then, I was like, okay, I'm getting off of fluoride and aspartame and GMOs. This was like, you were a conspiracy theorist back then to make these decisions. But it's all being vindicated, even at the World Health Organization level.
Right. And so yeah, and also environmental wise, you know, the other culprit is bottled water.
Hmm.
I
Oh,
don't
I'm
use.
not off that completely because I'm on the road a lot. It's convenient. I always have my metal one, but
Right.
sometimes for convenience sake. So you recommend we not use the plastic bottles, huh?
No, not at all, not at all. One of my family member, because of saving money, she store her food on plastic, and yeah, she has ovarian cyst, and she had to
Oh,
you know take out one of that, and it's not in the family. It's not in the family. We don't have that, and it's just uh, her. And so because of the different type of lifestyle, and also like behaviors and things like that, and then my mother was like, okay, let me go get the glass plastic and the glass containers for you now, stop using
mm-hmm.
that thing. So yeah, a lot of environmental issues as well, and so it is good. And also if you're a meat eater, um, it's also bad, and so that's why it's better to go uh, plant based now.
Mm-hmm.
With how they raise the cattle and stuff like that. They
So
inject
would
a
that
lot.
apply, Edwin, to the dairy also? Dairy cows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would. Yeah, and
I
you
love
won't
how
want to
Jeremy
drink.
puts up the soy curls right when we're talking about. I mean, that is so fitting. I mean, you want organic soybeans, not highly processed, meat analog junk food, but soy curls are just dehydrated and twisted soybeans, and that's a good alternative. I mean, you're not subsisting 75% of your diet on soybeans or something, but there are good alternatives to the animal products when you're going whole plant food based. Is that what you guys recommend and feed your patients that come to your clinic as whole plant food? That's what LSR does.
For us, we try to go with more whole foods, uh, and we try to stay away with soy and corn. Although they can be they are organic. Some people, because uh, their gut has already been so compromised, they don't do so well with
Mm.
soy and corn. Yeah, and also wheat as well. And
Walt
so
Cross literally just said the same thing to us last time we interviewed him. He said the corn and the soy and LSR doesn't serve the wheat. So there's some of these that, even though they're natural products that God made for us, our bodies may not be responding to them well, huh?
that's right. I think, maybe like 60 years ago, soy was
Yeah.
amazing. Like I heard that one of the inventor of tofu and soy milk is Adventist. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's great. 60 years ago, when there's no GMO and stuff like, or even more polluted ground. But now I think it's better to be safe than to be sorry. It's because of, although it was good before, and now it may not be so good because of what uh, people has been doing with the crop, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're speaking, I think in a way our audience is accustomed to considering these things. And as you were talking about the super female balance, one of our
Yes.
commenters, I've been keeping an eye on the chat today, Meekness 777 is a user of your product and says, yes, indeed, it works. I used it a few hours ago and I fell asleep as the pain decreased rapidly. I believe she's talking, or he probably she is referring to your product. It may have been something earlier in the chat, but speaking of that, yeah, there it is. Jeremy, let's say hi to some folks. Where are people watching from? Throw them up there on the screen, and we'll welcome our guests. And for folks who've come late, we're talking herbals with Edwin Chung of Humble Herbals. Michelle, welcome from Oregon. It's good to have you here. I grew up saying Oregon, but was quickly corrected. Marianne says, can this detox work for dogs with vaccines? They must get rabies according to the law, and they push for that one and Lyme vax. And so do you recommend anything, Edwin, for dogs who are having to get vaccinations by law, that you want to help them detox any potential harmful elements of that?
You know what? I have heard of using herbs with animal. It's an amazing approach right now, because it's almost like they feel the same effect as humans, and so, but for dogs, I don't know that much.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
It's something that I know that I think you can research more on animal and herbs. They do great for them. It's just that I haven't done that type of research.
Yeah, that's all right. You know what? That's the grab bag of Q&A. Sometimes we're like, I don't know how to say that word. What is that? I have no idea what the so it shows that we really are live. We're the real deal here, guys. So bring up some more questions or shout outs here, Jeremy. All right. So Edwin,
Yes.
At your clinic, and you can go lifestyle or herbals. We're moving from bad lifestyle, big pharma oriented medicine to good lifestyle and natural medicine with herbs and other treatments. Although we do not diagnose, treat, or cure anything. I want to ask you about that. Remind me to ask you about Canadian health regulations. I'm very interested in the differences between, you got Australia, United States, Canada. I'll come back to that though, because 96.2 Life says, what do you recommend for malabsorption?
Malabsorption. Okay, so a lot to do with your gut, really.
Yeah.
I would first do a test. There are a lot of tests that you can do. I think, ask the doctor, like, what type of test that I can do for malabsorption, and then okay, one of my first training is with Met Missionary.
Oh yeah,
Joyce and Mercy, and
she's been on the program. Joyce has Dr. Joyce. Yeah.
Oh, and so they have they are, to me, they are pretty expert in the gut health. Yeah.
Yes.
The anti-inflammatory type of healing the gut and autoimmune and things like that. And so one of the things that they would tell people with malabsorption is to heal the gut. And how to really heal the gut is to rid of all the things that that when you start eating it gives you symptoms. And a lot of them is like wheat, corn, and soy, and even with the meat products and things like that. And so I would say, check out their program,
medmissionary.com.
And they have an amazing protocol, and they have that cookbook as well. And a lot of them who has done their protocol and with the way they eat heal from malabsorption.
Yeah.
and there are other symptoms as well. And so I've been eating like that. Um, and so yeah, it has done great for me, and a
My
lot of
wife just went through it too. Medmissionary.com for
yeah,
gut healing. And it's, to a certain extent, it's kind of an elimination challenge where you're removing things that are often irritants, allergens, some kind of problems,
that's right.
and going with the most surefire foods for a time. And
That's
then hopefully you can expand that more widely after the healing process. And I'll let them speak for themselves, but that's my layman's understanding of it.
that's
Medmissionary.com,
right.
good
And
recommendation.
also yeah, and also I would say, in terms of herbs, the reason why I mentioned them first is because that's the number one, is the lifestyle, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, and then when if after that, if you want to support with herbs and simple remedies to start healing the gut, is slippery elm is one of the
yes.
good, to rebuild that lining.
And
To
aloe vera.
aloe vera is one of them. uh, if you want to do uh, bowel cleanses, there are a couple of herbs that are good with that. It's like saskara is one of them. uh, what is the other one that really gives you um, the yeah, aloe, sorry,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the one. Yeah, I was thinking like, yeah, we hit that one.
Saskara is another one.
Edwin,
um,
what do you think of that oxygen based kind of like the oxy gut cleanse? And then yeah, we do need to keep saying hi to folks.
yeah,
Jeremy, keep
that
pushing me
one
forward. But
that one is really effective. It's I think it's magnesium oxide.
yes,
It's a
yes.
yeah. So yeah, magnesium is it's a very powerful bowel mover if you take a lot of it. And so I
Yeah.
think yeah, it's because of the magnesium. Really, it works.
Yeah. That's my
I don't
favorite. We've done that. My wife and I have done that. Folks, email me if you want. I'm not asking Edwin to speak to that because they don't do that in their clinic, but that's something that our family has done. If you want to learn about that oxy type of magnesium oxide cleanse, just like gut cleanse in terms of just powering through all the excess material built up in there. Sorry to be gross. Use the restroom a few times the next day and do it for a few days while eating a lot of high water content food and keeping that colon hydrated. And we're not diagnosing, treating, or curing anything, but email me, scottritsema@gmail.com. I'll give you some pointers on that one. That's a fun one. But hello to Gregory in New Jersey and Neat in, you guys with your flags, you're testing my geographical literacy. I don't know that one.
That's Brazil, I think.
Oh yeah, I should know that. Yeah,
Brazil
Brazil is one of
flag.
a kind in the Western Hemisphere. Carol, okay, Carol wants to know, Edwin, about ivermectin. Your view on that drug.
Okay, so ivermectin is a pretty powerful anti-parasitic medication. Uh, but uh, okay, let me tell you what. I was when I went to Ethiopia, they were like they was like telling me, hey, like you need to be careful because it's a very very high malaria rate right there. And instead of using ivermectin, you know what I use for
What?
prophylactic? I was chugging down uh, 2 weeks in advance. Um, it's called Sweet Annie or Sweet Wormwood, and that is one of them. And
Mm,
sweet wormwood actually it's very effective for malaria, really.
mm,
And actually, ivermectin, I think it comes from that. It comes from wormwood, I believe. And so yeah, so why not take the the full spectrum of the herbs instead of the
yeah,
a concentrated type of isolated type of medication. That's
yeah.
what I would say. So So yeah.
Well, from
And
my perspective, there was a mandated issue a few years ago, and then that product that was just named was an alternative to that mandated thing. I think folks know what we're talking about. And so the freedom to choose your medical destiny, I think, is a human right and needs to be recognized. And at the same time, some in the natural healing community, if you will, it was kind of like that was a better alternative to the mainstream mandated thing,
right,
but it's still a drug. And so Edwin's taking us the next step and saying, why not just go to the wormwood? And
correct.
then you're using the full herbal. You're going right to how God made it, and that's going to be safe and effective from the Creator's hand. Huh? Katerina, Paradise Health Clinic in Ontario. I guess maybe she's been to your clinic. I don't know, but Katerina has some enthusiasm for your healing place there, Edwin. And Nanyanga Jacqueline Peace says, "What are some herbs and herbal supplements for anemia?" And hello in Minnesota there.
I like burdock is one of them. Sorry, yellow dock. It's called
Okay.
yellow. Um, I think there's a blood builder formula. It's called uh, Dr. Christopher's uh, blood builder formula. Like check that out. So it has yellow dock in there. It has, what else does it have? Um, I need to search for it. I wonder if it has. It just slipped my mind now. Um, Let me get back to you, okay?
Yeah, and how do people reach you if they want to contact you, Edwin?
You can go to info at humbleherbals.ca.
Great.
info.humbleherbal.ca. Give me 1 second, Dr.
Great.
Christopher.
And there are so many good things in the chat. I want to keep going with Jeremy, who he's got in line. So keep me moving, Jeremy, because I wanted to get to these other ones before we run out of time in 20 minutes or so. But Hebrew Mama says, can you talk about detoxing from lymphedema?
I don't have that.
That's all right. We can move through that one quickly. Just like
Give me
no.
Okay. Here
Okay,
it is.
found
Okay.
it. Good.
So it has red clover in it. Red clover is great for cleaning out the blood, like purifying the blood. It has burdock. It has burdock in it. Um, what else it has? Okay, it has Oregon grape, which is a good cleanser as well. Chaparral. Um, yeah, yeah. It's called Bloodstream. Sorry,
No, it's all right.
I'm promoting like other products as well. It's like, okay, you know what?
That's awesome. I love the integrity.
I just want to give what is the best. I
Yeah.
mean, when I do something, I think I do have the best as well. One of them is the super female balance, because
Oh yeah. You figured something out there.
you haven't find a product out there like this yet. I would want to say yet. Hopefully it will be like this. It's very, very unique. It's not oil based, and so I want to share my knowledge of whatever is good. So
Excellent. Herbs for congestive heart failure.
Okay, I would say Horton berries. I would say garlic is one of the good one. Um, uh, yeah, because
Excellent.
garlic can also lower down your cholesterol, the bad one.
Oh yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
it,
And
it,
by the way, speaking of that, somebody was asking in the chat about activated charcoal. Do you want to talk about that in relation to cholesterol in combination with garlic? I mean, not at the same time necessarily, but
activated charcoal is a powerful binder. It binds the toxins, but however, it's you know what, it's if you depends depending on some people that you talk to, I'm sure people from Chaco House they're amazing, right? They would talk long with about Chaco and things like that. But what we also found is some of the toxins that charcoal um, uh, it does not come number one is like the mycotoxins and some
Yeah,
untoxic.
mycotoxins. Yeah.
That's right. And so I would, for another binder, I would do zeolite. Um, and
I
also
don't know what
there's,
that is. Is that related to that bentonite or is that something different?
sorry, yeah, as bentonite is one of them, and it's called zeolite. It's called XEO.
Okay.
Uh,
I'm gonna need to learn about that one.
and so, uh, what else? There's a product out there. It's only for Canadian site only. But you know what? Um, okay, it's called the Cuffem. If you go to the website, the Cuffem, it has spirulina in it,
Mm,
chlorella in it. It has,
chlorella, big detoxer.
right.
Chlorella is
It,
good for the mycotoxins as well.
that's right. And
Just want to
then
quick say hi to Christine while you're looking that up, Edwin, and Jeremy can move us along there. And hello to Sue in Wisconsin. Glad you guys are with us. And Birmingham,
yeah,
England. Good to see you, Massa.
that Cuffem product, you can also get it from Closer to Jesus.
Oh,
They
that's an
have,
awesome name.
yeah, they have a whole slew of anti-parasite cleanse, and Humble Herbals just become their affiliates.
Oh, cool.
So I
Well,
carry their
reach out
product.
to Edwin at info@humbleherbals.ca. And I think everybody should do a parasite cleanse. I'm not your doctor. I'm not diagnosing, treating, or curing anything, but, consult your qualified physician and say, what do I do just in case I've got some parasite? And these are harmless products, and mycotoxin for mold.
That's
We're
right.
exposed to a lot of these things, and just kind of doing general upkeep is maybe something to consider. We know, when people come to LSR and they do the detox, the cleanse at the beginning, or take the detox course featuring Barbara O'Neill. I know, Jeremy, you could put that QR code up there. That's a highly recommended thing. And, we have a good general lifestyle that we live day in and day out. But then from time to time, we do a little tune up here or there, whether it's mold mycotoxin cleansing, parasite, detox of various kinds. Yeah, there it is, the 7-day. Oh, you got that discounted. Nice. That's recommended. Very much recommended, with guest, of course, featured guest Barbara O'Neill, as well as your favorite LSR speakers. So let's go, Jeremy, talk to some more people in the chat. Who else is up saying hi to us or asking a question? We got Christine. Where? And I answered that one in the chat. She just joined late. And Edwin is coming to us from Ontario, and it's just outside of Toronto, right?
Just outside of Toronto. So
Yes.
we are in Newmarket, to be specific. So yeah.
Excellent. Newmarket, and it's called Paradise Clinic.
Yes, Paradise Health Clinic.
Can you help Massa with, is there a herb that helps to overcome sarcopenia?
Sarcopenia is the sarcopenia.
I told you, folks, you're going to have moments like that.
Yeah,
That's all right. We'll go right on to the next one. Consult folks in the chat. I know there are a lot of very knowledgeable people in the chat. Maybe they've answered that one already in there. Sue says, is there one for insomnia? We're talking herbs here. Or not being able to sleep long enough.
Yeah, so there's a product in Humble Herbals. It's called the Sleep 8 product. It has valerian in it.
Oh, yeah.
Passion flower. It has like hops. So you want to deal with herbs that would interact with the receptor, and what we are talking about is the GABA receptor in the brain, which is the gamma aminoburic acid. And so that that neurotransmitter, it acts as a like a calming effect to the brain and also to the central nervous system. And so when you have that type of combination of herbs, it would help you with the sleep. So with this uh, uh, sleep aid product, there's 8 herbs in it. So you have skull cap. Skull cap is another good calming herb for stress and anxiety as well. You have chamomile. Chamomile has this antioxidant. It's called the epigenin antioxidants. It does interact with the GABA receptors as well. And so what else? You have California poppy. Although valerian and California poppy, you want to talk to your doctor, because if you're taking any antidepressants like SSRIs, that can interact. So you don't want. So
Yeah, and we should mention also, because you were talking about activated charcoal, same thing with any medications. It'll adsorb right to that and render it inert. So be aware of taking that not in proximity to medications that you're on. But can I mention one more thing on the lifestyle side of sleep disruptions? You want good melatonin production in the evening, and one of the ways that you do that is actually in the morning, by getting bright light in the morning. Getting outside for a good amount of time during the morning hours actually improves melatonin production and quality of sleep at night. And then also not having bright light and especially high stimulating activities, entertainments, anything that's stressful in the evenings those things will disrupt sleep as well. So if you get fresh air at night, that's also helpful. Crack the window. We even do that in the cold months. Just a little bit of an inch when it's cold out. Open it wide open when it's nice and warm out. And cool room, pitch black. Those are the strategies in addition to herbal remedies. When you combine it all, you're moving from here to here, as we've been talking. So we'll say hi to Sherry from Phoenix. Oh boy, it must be nice there this time of year. Katarina from Winnipeg, Canada. There's a fellow Canadian there. Edwin, for you in Winnipeg. Motivational Expression says hello from Augusta, Georgia. Another Southerner. Wonderful. Welcome. And Roe Deer says greeting from the UK, from London, across the pond. Marianne from Georgia. Welcome. Boy, we got people from the South coming and representing. And California, out west, we're all around. Joe Marie, thank you and welcome. And we also welcomed Nyanga earlier, and good to see you from Peace, Minnesota. I didn't know there was a town called Peace. That's nice. Unsuspecting Tourist says hello from the Finger Lakes in New York. Beautiful place of the country there, New York. Ray says hello from Virginia. Welcome, Ray, and we're happy to have you. And Marianne, again, she's going to ask this time, what herbs is the gentleman recommending for hormones? So, Jeremy, if you wouldn't mind, put that super female balance back up. This is really Edwin's signature contribution to the health and healing world. He's got other herbals as well, but this is the real flagship item that people are seeing a lot of success from.
That's right. And so that one, it has 6 herbs in it. Compared to the kind of like the mainstream. The mainstream, it has 2. But this one has 6, and so the other ones that I did not cover, it has red clover in it. The reason for red clover is because it has a good high amount of the phytoestrogen, and that will support with your hormone production and balancing the hormone really. Mm-hmm. And another really, really good one is black cohosh. Black cohosh has been widely studied. It does have the estrogenic effect. It promotes ovulation. It helps with PCOS. So
can you tell us what that is?
Polycystic ovary syndrome.
Yeah.
So, it helps with cramps and things like that, and irregularity. If you have a not regular uh, menstruation, that one is so good for it. So it's a kind of like, as I said, a multi-pronged approach. Um, so that's why I chosen the 6 herbs for this.
Yeah.
Of course, Vitex is another one, and there's this one Chinese herb. Not a lot of people have heard of it, but it's very very powerful. It's called dong guai. Dong guai. It's almost like it's very well known in Chinese culture. It's kind of like, it's called like the female ginseng. So it promotes blood circulation and it helps with hormonal issues as well. And so yeah, it's a great herb. So yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Any ideas for chronic inflammation? Oh boy, the 8 laws of health. But in addition to that, herbals for that.
Right. Chronic inflammation. It's a lot to do with the lifestyle. But if you want to really talk about herbs, the number one is turmeric.
Yeah.
Turmeric is amazing. Um, just make turmeric tea. Like, I mean, yeah, you can pop turmeric curcumin pills and things like that. Those are effective too. Sometimes it can become expensive.
It's also, a lot of those products have piperine and black pepper in them, which is an irritant to the gut, right? The lining of the gut. It's not, you don't want black pepper, right?
That's right. And so, in order for that to have better absorption, they chose pepperine, but you can also do it with cayenne. Um, I don't think anyone have heard of it before, but you can do it with cayenne.
There you go,
I
Edwin.
believe it.
Make a turmeric and cayenne supplement, herbal supplement for folks. So cayenne doesn't harm the gut like pepper does?
No, no, cayenne doesn't harm the like pepper does, and so you can go with cayenne, and so yeah. What else? I think another one is DMSO. As I mentioned before, DMSO is not, it's not a herb per se, but it's a very very good for inflammation. It's
Okay.
one of the most superb, yeah, fast acting relief for inflammation. And
Excellent.
and also, um, believe it or not, it can help regenerate nerves. And so
That's
if you're
awesome.
dealing, yeah, if you're dealing with numbness and all these things, I saw a comment
There
on
was a
numbness.
question in the chat about that.
Right. And so,
What
for
is it
herbs for
again?
numbness, yeah, cayenne is one of the best one, for promoting blood circulation.
And
But at this,
DMSO.
yeah, DMSO for topical, you would apply DMSO. Actually, there's this one story. My father, he died. He passed away from the doctors say hemorrhagic stroke. But when he got that stroke, doing I was doing poultice on his head, and at that time he has no hair, right? So it's easy to do poultices on the head. So the doctor was like, your father only have a week. He won't last within a week. And so just give him palliative care. I refused to accept that.
Hmm.
And so I said, no palliative care. Please start an IV. We have to fight for almost uh, 36 hours. We had to fight with the doctor for 36 hours for him to administer IV, because they were trying to just keep him comfortable, no water, just let him just go like that comfortably and things like that. And I refused to accept that. So while they were doing the IV, and I started with, cayenne, I started with DMSO and the poultice and things like that, he actually um, was was coherent. He was conscious. He was able to recognize, although he lost his speech and things like that. And to the point where the doctor and the nurses, they were surprised, like, what did you do to your father? Like, he survived in the hospital bed. The thing that really uh, uh, killed him was it was um, it was the tube. It was the feeding tube. They fed him too much, and
Oh,
yeah, there's a lot of fluid in the lungs because he choked on the food.
oh.
I told them not to do that. No 24-hour feeding. However, they did that, and he choked to
Mm.
his death. He drowned, and so yeah. Because they start seeing results, they were in agreement to give him that feeding tube for him to survive. Um, but then they did something that I told them not to, and so yeah. But
Jeremy, I
DMSO,
want to
what
refrain
my
from
point?
other questions and comments because I want to let Edwin really take us home with this. I don't mean to interrupt, but Jeremy, if you could just pause the questions. Edwin, carry on there.
So the reason why I was saying is uh, DMSO and the herbs can even stop a stroke, believe it or not, because DMSO is such a powerful solvent that it can dissolve clots. And so if ever your loved ones or anybody that suffering from from stroke, one of the things that you can do is, cayenne. You can do DMSO immediately through the mouth, and also the head as well. That was what I would do for my own family. It's
Hmm.
it's not a medical advice.
Well, of course not.
You
Yeah.
got to do what you think is best, but that was what I would do. And so
That
yeah. Yeah.
that is a really moving story, Edwin, and I'm sorry for your loss. And we have hope in Christ in the resurrection and in
Amen.
eternal life. And in the meantime, we do our absolute best for our loved ones, for ourselves, for our aged parents and grandparents, for our children.
Mhm.
And you can't be always confident that the medical system is doing the best possible. That's quite an understatement there, especially given your story. And
Yeah,
when
so
we,
he was there for close to a month. Yeah, close to a month. And so yeah, the doctor said, no, you can't survive this. It's They let me see the scan. It was really bad. Like, there was the clot the sorry the bleeding was the middle of the brain, and they could not operate or anything like that. So I did what I could, and so it actually helped him, really. So, and
yeah,
during that time, I was constantly giving him Bible verses, constantly singing hymns, and to minister to him, and things like that. So I think with that period of time, he was able to have peace with the Lord during that frame of time. And I think it's because I took action, to prolong that. And so
yes.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a beautiful story, really. I mean, it's sad, but it's also it's
Mhm,
got the glimmers of hope and light and eternal life, and
mhm.
that God's methods were working. And so I want the listeners, and I know I cut you guys off because there's always more conversation we could have, and it's always a little bittersweet to end the stream, but we'll be together again next week. And if we didn't get to your questions, and you want to email and communicate with Edwin, just send me an email. I'll forward it on to him, scottritsema@gmail.com. You can see it on the screen, how to spell my name. And I want to end here where we began. An electrical engineer turned herbalist and medical missionary, and having the privilege to do a surgery overseas under a trained surgeon, and really just reaching out and caring for loved ones, for strangers. Every single one of us can heed God's call to be a blessing to those around us. In fact, maybe that's the ninth law of health, is service, is
Amen.
altruism. There is much research behind the benefits of living that way for others. And so I know I'm preaching to the choir. Those who follow this channel are in line with that way of God's methods. And so I just want to thank every one of you for being here. I really want to thank our guest, Edwin, and your heart and your passion and mission in life. It's contagious, and it's just common folks like you and I can have conversations like this. And God bless, and we're thankful for those who've gotten medical training and can help you along with something like you experienced in Ethiopia. But we're going to say goodbye to our listeners now, and we'll welcome you next time. It says it right on there. We're going to talk to Eric Dublin on natural detox and remedies. That'll be April 9th, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, as always. And I'm your honored host, Scott Ritsema. Our guest today has been Edwin Chung of humbleherbals.ca for Canadian viewers, and our producer, Christian Digital Network. Jeremy, great job again today. From likes to lives changed. Subscribe to their channel on YouTube, and Living Springs Retreat, always here for you guys to help you along in your health journey. We'll see you next time.